Hello, hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? Please say hi in the comment section and let me know where are you joining me from. Hi everyone, I'm Flora Daisy. I am a digital accessibility expert and founder at Linoratech. Linoratech is just an incredible company with the value and mission to help leaders and professionals easily create inclusive and accessible digital products and experience for everyone. And I mean, we want to include employees, customers with visible or invisible disabilities. Well, as you all know by now, I try very very much to make this show inclusive to everyone. So I am going to describe myself because sometimes in the audience there are people with low vision, visual impairments, or people who are blind. So hi, I am a black woman, always smiling. Some people will say, Flora, you laugh more. I am currently rocking a black and red long straight hair. I am wearing a red suit and a shirt or blouse that is black and white. Please feel free to self-describe if you want in a comment. I really encourage people to do that because you will make more people feel more included in some of the experience out there. Hi, today we want to talk about missing voices. Ha! This is a topic that I will say is really dear to my heart, just because for the longest time I was quiet. Not just because I just wanted to be quiet, but because at some point I lost my voice. Not for 1 week, not for 2 weeks. I lost my voice for a few weeks. It actually went to a month, a little bit above the month. And this is because I used to have what is called a temporary disability, which create mutinous. I can talk. But today I don't want to talk just about disability from the sense of just a limitation. I want to talk to you about how we create experiences and products. And sometimes we are excluding people from those experiences and product by not getting feedback. That's why today's episode is all about the fact that if you are ignoring feedback, this might hurt your disability, your digital accessibility initiatives or projects. This also is applicable if you are creating or you are wanting to create experiences that are inclusive and accessible. Again, feedback is such an important topic, and I think that we don't always talk about it, right? Whenever we are leading and creating digital products like websites, applications, or digital documents, we often trying to pay attention to the design, right, the development, and also the testing, the audit, and getting perhaps a report, an audit. But sometimes we don't go to users with disabilities to collect feedback. I know in many cases there is uh, a lot of testing around user experience and things of that nature, but oftentimes user experiences are feedback are provided by able bodies, right? And sometimes people with disabilities are having trouble, with some of the created product because there are limitations in it. All right, let's talk really. Let's talk really about what are those limitations? Why is feedback important? I mean, I even want to hear from you all. Let me know what you think about feedback. Is feedback important when you create digital products? Let me know in the comment. I see, and don't feel shy. You can say hi. I can see it live. I promise I can read everything. I see Kel. Hi, Kel. She said, "Good morning, Flora. Grateful to be here and hear your voice on digital accessibility." Oh my goodness, I'm so happy you're here. Please feel free to let me know you're here. If you're watching the replay, just say hi as well. I love to see people reacting, commenting, and I want to hear your thought. This is an opportunity for us all to collaborate. I don't have all the answers, but I'm here just to share what I have. I see, oh, Dr. Nicole is here. Hi. She said, hi, love that you are taking about this. When we have a course received and give feedback from users, we pay them for their time. This is so true. This is so true. And I think that this is such an important topic, but again, it's one that is often overlooked. Even to find, you know what, I'm getting ahead of my time. Uh, oh my goodness. I see Dr. Nicole say, talking, sorry. Oh, that's fine. I think I got it. I'm gonna sometime I'm having hard time. I'm having a hard time seeing some of the comments. So I'm gonna have my LinkedIn open on the side. Hopefully that will give me an opportunity to see all comments because it can be crazy. But yeah, so what I was saying about why feedback is important is the fact that whenever we create a digital product, of course, there is a cycle around creating a digital product. It starts with thinking, checking on the user need, and all of the the processes and the flow. But what is overlooked is feedback from people with disabilities, and that's why I think that is important. I will even say it's critical. It's critical whenever you create a product to start engaging with people with disabilities. Critical, and don't just take, if you can, don't just go and seek just one person. At least get 5 people. Diversity is just important. Having one person with a disability to represent everyone with the same disability might not really always be the case. I've worked and consulted with incredible people with disabilities, and one person who's blind does not have the same problem with like another person who's blind. Sometimes they give you a different view of what is important to them in a product. So really, it's important. Whenever we are not able to engage and bring people with disabilities, when we are creating products that are inclusive and accessible, we might miss the mark. I remember an incredible leader told me one time, Flora, whenever I create an incredible product, okay, I know 100% that I might miss the mark. And I was like, wait, what did she just say there? That she's missing the mark? 100%? What does that mean? Are you not creating a product to serve and achieve the goal and all of that? She said, no, Flora. The fact is that in the room with me, there are people like me. And so diversity is such an important thing that we sometimes need to bring the missing voices. We need to bring people with disabilities on that table whenever we're talking about ideation. Are you talking about creating a product? Bring already a few people with disabilities to be a part of this collaboration, this brainstorming, because they will let you know ahead of time based on some other experiences they have out there what will be ideal for them, what could work for them. I know many organizations are trying to do the right thing by bringing people with disabilities at the end so that they can test and see if it's working. I applaud this approach, but it can be better. Can you imagine creating a house without a toilet or a kitchen and waiting toward the end and say, hey, by the way, I want you to check and see if the house is good. And the person will say, hey, by the way, did you know that you're missing a kitchen? Or did you know that you're missing a toilet? You know? And then retrofitting and fixing that gap might cost actually a lot. And it might even impede on the end product, right? I know that retrofitting or putting a bandage on some of the projects out there are not working. This is not working. So think about the same way. Whenever you are creating or leading an initiative around inclusion, accessibility, it's important. Just remember the illustration with the kitchen and the toilet. It's important to bring quickly at the very beginning people you want to serve, which means everybody. And when I'm talking about disability, I'm not just telling you bring someone who's blind, bring someone who is using a wheelchair. 70% of people with disabilities have invisible disabilities. And some people with disabilities have several disabilities. So really try to push yourself and get a diversity in the group that will come and give you feedback whenever possible. I know sometimes budget can be tight, but if you plan ahead, guess what? You will save a lot more at the end. If you do not plan ahead, it will cost you more to try to fix something that could have been, handled properly at the very beginning. Okay, I see a few comments. Let me read that. Please don't feel shy. Share your thoughts. Let me know what you think. Is it better to start at the beginning, collecting feedback? Or is it better maybe to start in the middle of the project or at the end of the project? For me personally, based on my experience working with incredible and large corporation as well as small or medium corporation, it's always better to have feedback throughout the cycle. If you can have it at the beginning, do it, because this is really where you are creating an inclusive blueprint, if that makes sense. And then you can have testing also in the middle of the project just to see if you are going in the right direction or if things are being dropped. you know I've seen the cases where I work with some incredible an incredible team, designers and developers, and then at some point we did a fantastic job, but something happened, and then they had to go back to a previous version of the project, of the product. And so when they did that, they didn't realize that that previous version did not have all the accessibility features that we added, and then they carry on with that new version that did not have all the accessibility features that we already worked on. And then toward the end, we were like, what is happening? Where is everything that we like? I'm pretty sure we work on that. No, it just wasn't there. So it's important to have it in the journey. Okay, let me read a couple of comments here. I see Dr. Nicole said, this is an excellent point. Oh, thank you so much. I'm happy to see that you resonate with that, Dr. Nicole. And if you have any question, just let me know as well. Love, love, love that. Okay. So one of the important things, definitely having feedback will allow the product to be more inclusive. Better to have the feedback throughout the journey. One of the things I will say, because sometimes, leaders, managers, or, people working in the space sometimes freak out because there is no time. There is no time to implement some of the feedback. The reason why there is no time to implement some of those feedback is basically because the feedback mechanism process was not part of the plan. Okay, when you have a clear feedback mechanism and process being part of the plan, you know how to integrate those, and you also budget, you know, the amount of money that you need for these initiatives, and also the time. Sometimes we forget that time is also a value, an important value, as a matter of fact, because projects usually have a deadline, right? Sometimes we work on an agile, or maybe some people, waterfall, are still working on it. But sometimes things are moving very fast in companies. So if you do not budget really money and time, guess what? It's not working. And oftentimes you will see that accessibility features will be tossed aside, which is unfortunate because it's going to cost a lot to the company. You know, there are more than 1.3 billion people with a disability in the world, according to the WHO, the World Health Organization, which means that we have a lot of clients with disabilities. Not only clients in the company, 1/5 or 1/6 people are likely to have a disability, you know? And like I said, some disabilities are not visible, which means that within your company, if you have more than 5 people in your company, guess what? You might have somebody with a disability. They may not disclose that they have a disability, or sometimes they don't even know that they have a disability, you know? Some people are not getting diagnosed. They know that they're struggling to do certain things, but they feel it's normal. Maybe it's just age. Maybe it's just me. You know, some people don't know. I can't tell you the number of people I spoke to who told me, Flora, I didn't even know I have ADHD. You know, is someone that mentioned that, and I realized the same thing with me. My case of, I don't even know the proper word for that, mutinous. I didn't know that was a disability. Yeah, I thought that was just me. You know, I have just moment where I lose my voice for weeks or for months, but that's just me. And I didn't really factor that is a disability. I didn't know until I spoke with someone, and until I went to a conference and someone described literally what I was going through. And this person said she has a disability. And I was like, wait a minute, what do you mean? Wait, do I have a disability? You know, so really, really be careful. Having an inclusive and accessible product is not just for people with disabilities, it's just to help everyone. You know, sometimes you go through situation in life where you might be limited, you know, perhaps because you're sick, or perhaps because you had an accident, you injure your hand, you might have to use your voice to work around certain things. Really, inclusive and accessible product just help everyone. It doesn't have to be just for people with disabilities. Everyone can, leverage more inclusive product. But that's really important. And a survey from the World Bank also indicated that there are $13 trillion on the table whenever you are helping and creating inclusive product for everyone. It's just mind blowing. Listen, I am not talking about little change. These are big amount that corporation can tap into, and plus it's gonna help also for reducing or removing any fines or any lawsuit or any damage or reputation damage for your brand or your company. I see a few more comments. Let me read some. All right, I see Kale said feedback throughout the project helps you to continue to improve. Fail fast. Oh gosh, this is another good point, Kale. I will say that some people are afraid to fail. Why? Everything that has been created in this world perhaps started with failure. You know, everything, the computer, TV, the airplane, everything started somewhere with failures. It was an idea at the beginning, but how to get to that concrete working product, it all started with failures. And I love what you said, Kale. Having the feedback is not a bad thing. I know some people feel like having a negative feedback, usually when you talk to people, you're trying to collect that information, it's going to delay, it's going to do this. But really, having a feedback is the best way to improve quickly your product, your services, and your brand reputation. It's such an incredible thing to think about. I'm gonna check again to see if I'm not missing anyone on LinkedIn because again my platform doesn't always tell me anything. Oh my goodness. I see Kale said failure is the conduit to improvement. Yes, we need to change our mindset on the world itself. Gosh, music to my ears. Kale, love it. You know, a culture change, it's something that is important, especially when we're talking about inclusion, diversity, right? Equity. We're talking sometimes even about reconciliation, right? For indigenous people, we're talking about disability, allowing everyone to be unique and to be striving, contributing, enjoying life. It's such an important thing. Listen, I don't know about you, but I don't have a magic wand, which means that I am aging. I would like to say that I will stay young forever, but that's not happening. I am aging. With aging, sometimes you lose some abilities. So it's not a matter of do we really need to help people with disabilities? I don't even know anybody with a disability in my circle. No, you might have a disability yourself. And like I said, a disability is simply a limitation. Sometimes we might even have a disability that we are not aware about. So, really, making things more inclusive is really just creating an opportunity for everyone, no matter what happened in life. You might not be able to see at some point, or at least to see properly, but having a more inclusive and accessible product will give you options. Trust me, you can use a screen reader, which is a software that read information on the screen for you. You can use your voice to communicate, to navigate, or to do anything. You don't even have to use your hands. So imagine if you have any problem or sickness that is preventing you to use your hand, you can use your voice. But this will only happen if the product and experience is already made inclusive and accessible. I mean, I can talk on and on about this, but this is accessibility and inclusion is just giving us options, period. Some people prefer to do certain thing in a certain way. Having options can help you do that. You know, it's really, really important. All right, let me move forward. I gosh, I can talk about this all day, every day. But let's talk about how you know corporation or organization can leverage feedback. One of the things that usually people are asking me is where can I get people with disabilities to bring or to share feedback with us. One of the things that I love to do, just because I own also a company, is to connect with people with disabilities. Now the next question would be where to find people, right? Example, you can start already connecting with influencers who are advocating around accessibility. Some influencers, even on social media, are already disclosing that they are deaf or they are blind, they have ADHD. You know, I will say influencers are easy to talk to when they are not too busy. They are easy to talk to, so connect with them. They're usually very open to share their feedback. But again, think about respecting people time. Whenever someone has to provide you with feedback, also provide them with something. Okay, either you provide them with an opportunity to work eventually together, or just provide them with a little budget payment that will help them. Everyone time is valuable, so be respectful of that. I know sometime within the organization it could be you may have a tight budget, but listen, whenever you value someone time, you will see that reflected in your product, and this is gonna really go further. along the way. The person who is also an influencer can promote your product, especially after seeing the amount of work that you've done. You get free promotion, advertisement, and all of that. But I'm not going there. Another way is to also connect with maybe some community or organization that are helping and supporting people with disabilities. This will help you get also a variety of, great voices, you know, and those missing voices are very important, as I said before. The other thing that you can do is maybe if you have ERG, like employee resource group in your company, or you already have a few people that have disclosed that they have a disability, or perhaps you just want to create a new community in your organization where you are supporting people with disabilities. So these people will already self-disclose, and they might be, willing and happy to provide you with feedback. It starts with just one person, it starts with just one initiative, and it will go so far. One of the things that I think is important also whenever you are starting working to collect feedback is to have a clear mechanism and processes and strategy around feedback collection, implementation, and also the roadmap. If you have no clue what that means, just connect with me. I'll be happy to support whatever you're trying to create and achieve. Communication is also a very important thing. Sometimes, whenever you want to collect feedback, you have to be careful about the way you word certain things. I'm not saying that you have to be always politically correct about how you phrase or how you say certain things, but just be mindful that, some of the communication tools that you might be using might be actually limiting. So you might not be able to collect properly some, great feedback because the tools you are using are not working. Okay, so think about there are so many things that I can share about it, but my time is almost up. Let me know in the comment if this information is valuable. I'm always curious to know, and if you like what you're hearing, please give me a thumbs up and reaction. I will take everything. Well, another thing that can be really useful whenever you want to do a good job in creating experiences that are inclusive for all is also to train. You have to train people in your organizations. Sometimes people who have no disabilities might not understand fully what it means to have a disability. Some disabilities are also what is called episodic. It means that it happens sometime and it disappears sometime. A little bit like my own case. It's been years that I haven't got my mutinous. So I don't have a disability. That's what I tell myself. But some people, sometimes with chronic pain, can have a low time and they might not be able to perform as well as they used to when they are totally free, or I would say pain manageable. So you really want to be very, very careful. There's so many variances. But again, if you have trouble navigating this area, please feel free to connect with me. I'm an open book. I see a few comments. Let me see that. I see Kale said, helpful information and delightfully delivered. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you, Kale. Love it. But really, there are so much things that I can unpack here and share with you, but 30 minutes is not enough. But hopefully whatever you heard will help you, guide you in creating something that is more inclusive and accessible to everyone. All right, everyone, I'm wishing you a wonderful time. And next week, you want to join me. I'm going to be receiving an incredible person who, because she started paying attention to disability and accessibility, has moved her business to a higher rank. And gosh, I don't want to tell you everything, but she's going to be here next week. Again, just follow me, check on my page, however you find this. Make sure that you are here next week. for just 30 minutes. She's going to be here. She's going to be sharing what happened in the journey. I was like, what? Really? And she said, yes. And that was not just it. Okay, you know what? I'll let you go, everyone. And bye bye.